Launchpad Live, Spokane's Business Connection Show. I'm Bill Kalivas.
And I'm Monique Cotton. Thank you for joining us. Bill, I have a feeling you're pretty excited about today's show for a number of reasons.
Yeah, we're talking about two of my favorite subjects, next generation leaders and football. I love me some football.
Yes, you do. I love some football too. I have to admit, I know it's, kind of the manly thing, and don't say it, I'm not manly.
No, you're not. But I know why, because you've got somebody who's a rabid Minnesota Vikings fan.
Oh,
Dave.
Rabid. My husband is, if that football game is on, Minnesota's playing, I could stand in front of the TV and he wouldn't even know this.
Yeah, no, he's told me that. Anyway, so let's go ahead and go forward.
You lie. Well, how do these topics, football and business, fit together? We'll tell you that and much more. Stay with us. Launchpad Live starts right now.
All right, so next up we have our community partnership program, and I am super excited that we have this program in place, and we're so fortunate. We have great sponsors and partners for the Launchpad programs, and we have two of our partners here today. We have Adrian Lighthouser of Gonzaga. Welcome today.
Thank you.
We also have Dave Takasaki representing Eastern Washington University Alumni Program. Welcome, Dave. Thanks for being here.
Both of you, thank you so much for being here. And let's talk a little bit about the programs that you guys are involved in, and if you could briefly describe it. Adrian, let's start with you.
Fantastic. Well, I'm currently an MBA student at Gonzaga's Graduate School of Business, but I'm also the Alumni and Outreach Specialist. And the program we really have 5 programs. We have the basic MBA program, the MAC program, we have MBA in Healthcare Management, we have an MBA in American Indian Entrepreneurship, and we also have the combination dual degree MBA Law. So it's a fantastic personalized program. Every student gets an advisor, and we really help tailor the program for exactly what the student wants to achieve.
Wow. So about how many students would you say that you have right now?
It really changes. I think about right now we have about 100. We'll have 112 students who have graduated over this past year, and we're really trying to sustain that number. It's a great number for us because we're able to keep giving the personalized attention we'd like to each of those students. Yeah. We're able to keep our class size at about 22 students, so the students really get to interact with their faculty as well. So it's a fantastic program, and I really encourage people to check it out.
Really personalized, sounds great. Dave, how about you? Tell us a little bit about what you're involved in.
Sure. I'm the treasurer on the board of directors for the Alumni Association. The Alumni Association really is designed to bring alumni back to Eastern, really help them keep connected with Eastern, have them give back to the university, in service or in funds, and really keep them connected to, what other students are doing at the university, what we're doing in the community. And then also get them to come out to games, come back to the MBA programs, and that's what we do at the Alumni Association.
Maintaining that connection.
Maintaining the connection, yeah.
Outstanding. Speaking of connections, so what are you guys doing in the next couple of months? Do you have any events coming up or anything that you'd like to talk about?
Well, we have next week, actually, next Thursday, we have the John L. Aram Chair in Business Ethics lecture. It's going to be held at the Red Lion River Inn, and we're bringing in a renowned business ethicist, Daryl Kane. She's going to have a great topic. It's when can you trust a CEO's apology? It's going to be an interactive event where she's actually going to show some video of CEOs talking and gauge whether that trust level moves up or down.
There's been many times I your apology.
That was
I think we should go to that.
That was like a softball for her. Yeah,
I had to take the opportunity. Yeah. I'm sorry. Let's continue.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's our big lecture that's coming up. But I'm also in charge of the alumni activities. So we have a great golf tournament that we do annually in June. That's more of a networking social event.
Outstanding.
How fun.
Yeah, right now we're really focusing on young alums and young professionals. Partly the reason why we're partnering up with you guys, because that is a good resource for us. But we're really focusing on that, and it's going to be about 4 to 5 events a year for young professionals at Eastern, and then also engaging the seniors at Eastern to really make them feel connected before they leave, so that they want to promote Eastern after they leave. But that we're doing those about once every quarter, and then it's going to be a networking lunch, and then bring in professionals around Spokane to speak to the alumni and also network with them.
Great.
It's all about relationships. It really is, and it sounds like that's something that you hold dear as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if we want to know more about both of your organizations, tell us a little bit about how we can find out more. Dave, let's start with you.
Yeah, just the best place is Eastern's website, the Eastern website, or alumni.ewu.edu is another good place to find out.
Excellent.
And I'm going to direct you to the website as well. So we have the Gonzaga website, gonzaga.edu/MBA. We'll get you straight to our programs, and we'll talk about all 5 programs. Additionally, we have a Facebook page for Gonzaga MBA MAC programs that has a lot of great information.
Great.
Excellent.
Well, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. We couldn't do it without you, obviously. So if you do want more information, you can go to the Launchpad community, the Next Generation Leaders community, and you do have ads on that site as well. So if for those folks that are surfing the web and you stumble across Launchpad, or if you're there on purpose, which we hope you are, you can click on those ads and it'll take you directly to their site. So let's give them a round of applause.
Thank you both for being here.
Thank you for being here.
Now we'd like to welcome Paul Reed, the publisher with the Spokane Journal of Business. Journal of Business, of course, is what we like to call you for short. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it.
So, Paul, I've known you for, I don't know, a number of years, but you have a new role there at the Journal of Business. You want to talk about that, and then also maybe fill people in on what the Journal of Business is all about?
Sure. Well, I became publisher in January on the retirement of Greg Bever, who had been our publisher for about 15 years. I've been, though, with the paper for 26 years. I was there at the beginning. So we're a business newspaper, and we cover Spokane and Kootenai counties and thoroughly in the business news. We don't do anything else. We don't try to do sports or regional news or national news. We're very focused, just like there's about 150, 160 papers like us across the country.
But you're very unique, and tell us a way that a next generation leader could utilize the Journal of Business to help in their job search.
Sure. Well, you know, it's simply a tool. That's all it is. It's one of the tools you need to have in your toolbox. If you're just beginning your career or you're working up the ladder, the key is you need to have some knowledge. So imagine yourself, I guess, at a reception or at one of these events, and you run into a possible prospect, and you happen to know that they expanded last month or in need of this or in need of that, and suddenly you are in the know. You have some knowledge, and that's what the Journal of Business offers is very specific news about business in Spokane.
Knowledge is power, really.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and especially if you're aspiring to grow your career, or like Monique said, look for a job. What are your plans for the future? I mean, obviously it's a staple of the business community here, and has been, and does a great job. What do you really see maybe looking?
Sure.
In the future?
Well, you know, we're a proven print publication, but obviously in the future we need to be more than that. So we've already begun. We have a website, and all of our news is published on the website, available to our subscribers. We also do RSS feeds. We do email updates, and so we are beginning the slow path as a print publication to become more of an online publication. Not to say that we're going to stop publishing in print. We think a lot of our readers like to have that, and actually what I find statistically is when people begin to say they hit about age 35, they tend to like the print as well, and so we're going to try to serve both markets.
I've got back into it since I turned 35.
Last week. Yeah.
You're right on point.
Anyway, it's the future is both, in my mind, is both print and digital, and we need to have an equal emphasis on both.
Sure.
What about social media? Are you integrating that into your plan as well? I know that reaches out to a whole different audience,
yes.
Really.
Well, we are. We have a presence on Facebook. We tweet. I don't know. I'm too old for this kind of thing. So we try to provide our news in as many different vehicles as we can, and that's one of them. Yeah.
Well, that's fabulous. We really appreciate you being here. We appreciate the Journal and our community. Again, thank you, Paul Reed with the Journal of Business.
Yeah, and Paul, I really appreciate that we're looking at partnering, seeing different ways that we can partner together and really provide information, connectivity to the business community, and reaching out to more folks. So I look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
All right, let's give a hand to Paul Reed.
We'd now like to introduce a very special guest, Brady Nelson, president of the Spokane Shock Arena Football Team and Regal Satellite LLC. Thank you so much for being here, Brady.
Thanks for having me.
It's really a pleasure to have you.
Cool. Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, Brady, tell us a little bit about your background. Where are you from, and kind of all the way up to the point of starting your businesses?
Sure. Well, I'm from Spokane, so I was born and raised here. went to BYU in Utah. And when I was in college, kind of my background is I was a poor college student like most people, and I had to figure out a way to make some money. So these guys came to campus kind of talking about summer jobs of selling a pest control service door to door, and I kind of thought maybe I want to get out of town and try something new. So I took my diesel Jetta across the country to Washington, D.C. and spent a very grueling summer knocking on doors in D.C. and kind of got my entrepreneurial spirit bug born there. So did that for a couple summers, and as I was getting ready to graduate, I knew that I didn't really want to work for anybody, and I wanted to kind of chart my own course. So as soon as I graduated, I started my first company, which at that time I just went and got a sales contract with Dish Network, and I started selling and recruiting other college students to go door to door across the country selling satellite service. So it's kind of how that started.
An entrepreneur from the start.
I guess so, yeah.
So what you're very well known for here is the Spokane Shock.
Yeah.
So tell us about what it was like to start an arena football team in a town that maybe wasn't as open to it in the beginning.
Well, yeah, it's very interesting because it was never a lifelong dream. I mean, as a kid, of course, I wanted to be an athlete, and I wanted to play baseball, and Ken Griffey Jr. was kind of my idol. And like I tell a lot of our players, at some point your career ends, and mine, I was told at 18, you're not going pro. So, I mean.
By the way, hold on. Ken Griffey Jr. is a baseball player. Anyway,
yes,
go ahead.
former Mariner.
People
don't know them anymore.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Your wife is going to give you a big knock on the nose when you get home from me.
Sure. Well, honestly, I just got the idea one day. I was actually looking for something to do right around this time. It was first week of April, and I was just sitting around. I thought, man, I want to go to an event, but there was no live sporting events. Yeah. Hockey was finished that time. March Madness is over. Minor League Baseball. There was literally nothing, and I was sitting with my brother saying, I'll literally go to any event. If there's something with a ball, I will go to it. I don't care if it's high school. Maybe there's a scrimmage of some sort. I'm just hungry for a ball sport. Well, there was nothing. But I remembered when I was in Utah, there was an indoor football team called the Utah Warriors. They were comprised of BYU, Utah State, former kind of stars. I'm like, that'd be kind of interesting if we could do the same thing here. I wonder if there's a team, maybe they're playing in some garage somewhere I don't know about. But there wasn't. And as soon as I realized there was not, I thought, I think I should probably look into this and do it before someone else gets this idea. And that's kind of how it happened.
That's awesome. Yeah. So then you start the team in, was it?
2005, we actually kind of announced I was 27 years old. And I mean, really, from my opinion, I didn't really know anybody. But I just called the arena and asked how much it'd be to rent this thing and kind of put together a business plan. And I think my biggest obstacle was being young and really not having a lot of connections with, I didn't even know anybody in the city or anything like that. But overcoming the obstacle of credibility by being someone young and not like someone in Spokane has been around 100 years so people know or know the last name, I think that was the biggest obstacle.
Right.
Definitely. I mean, and we were talking about mentors with Dara. That probably played a role in your development as well. Did you have a mentor?
I don't think I had a formal mentor relationship, but since I've never worked for really anyone but myself, mentors are a huge asset because I've never been taught certain things that you learn as an employee or given an employee handbook. I mean, Wild West just winged it and said, let's just go do this. And if I can sell more than I spend, I'll be in business, I guess. Wow. So yeah, I have a couple uncles who are successful in the technology industry, and I've always kind of picked their brain and looked for some guidance. But since I've been more involved here in Spokane, I've networked with a lot of people, and it's extremely valuable to an entrepreneur to have that network because you're always looking for something new and always needing some advice and some guidance. So
yeah, and I'm assuming that if you do maybe adopt a mentor or something and you kind of develop that relationship, they'd get season tickets?
Yes, they would. That's definitely.
Okay, just want to throw that out.
They wouldn't get good season tickets. I got to sell those. I know that.
Probably a smarter move, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So, boy, you've done a lot. So I have to ask a question.
Sure.
You guys, your first year, tell us what happened that first year with the team. Like what, What did you guys accomplish that year?
Well, the first season, my expectations were, I just thought it was logical. I thought there's about 10,000 seats. There's nothing really else going on. I see no reason why we wouldn't sell this out every day. I did not anticipate that people would really become big fans. I thought it'd be something fun like a movie that you could go to 8 times a year. I didn't really expect on game one there was like 3,000-4,000 people wearing orange shock. I don't even know how these things were created, but they were. We weren't really even selling them. So, but it just caught fire. Our first night was a Thursday night. No one had ever seen a game. We had 9,300 fans, and then we had, for the next 4 years, we sold out every single game. But our very first season, we went 17-2. We won the championship, and it was pretty remarkable. I mean, it was kind of funny. I went in kind of expecting to do that because I'm like, let's try to win the championship, and we did, and didn't really realize how difficult that was until we didn't do it. So,
but that's amazing. That's
totally amazing.
Great story.
Totally amazing, and we've been so fortunate. In 6 years, we've won the championship 3 times. We've been in 4 title games, been in the playoffs every year, and we have an incredibly loyal fan base, not just to the team and the players, but me. I see people all the time, and they're, when I have to make a tough decision, they're like, "Hey, man, we know that was tough." I don't even know who they are, but they'll come up to me and say, "I know that was a tough decision, but we got your back. Don't worry about it." And it's just so cool being from Spokane to have that kind of support here. I mean, it's just indescribable. It's awesome.
That's really neat. And we've talked about the past, so let's talk a little bit about the future.
Sure.
What does the future hold for the Spokane Shock?
Well, for the first 4 years, we were in the AF2, which is for mid-sized markets, and we were able to join and move up to the AFL, which is the highest league. Arena football, there's only 20 players, and we're looking at, from the league's perspective, global expansion. So we actually have recently got a couple deals done with arena operators in China and Europe. And there's a chance in the next few years that it's going to be Spokane versus Shanghai coming up pretty soon. So for us, worldwide play, the outdoor NFL Europe actually did pretty well when the NFL was over there, but it's never going to be soccer in Europe, and it's not going to be that in other countries. But for 20,000 seats instead of 80,000 seats, people who have never seen football before understand scoring, but they don't understand like punting and 3 yards in a cloud of dust, but they can understand scoring. So we feel that this is the type of football product that people in different countries can latch onto. So that's a pretty exciting thing for us. And we're, of course, looking for new horizons with national TV. So it's, for us, I really feel like even though it's our 7th year, we're just at the very tip of what we could become.
And you also have a great following. I think you have some phenomenal corporate sponsors.
Yeah, we do.
Business people that love to take their clients to games. And talk about that experience just a little bit, because I know I've been to a couple games. It's a blast. It's more like an event rather than just a sport, which is great. Lots of scoring. It's loud. It's fun. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, from a marketing perspective, I knew we'd get diehard people like me who wanted just to go to something. So I figured I'd capture those. But I also knew that we had to have something more of a spectacle, more of a event, to keep it fresh, to keep people coming over and over. But ticket sales alone does not cover the cost of running this operation. So local partnerships and sponsorships where we offer companies value and exposure, but also interaction with our brand and awareness at the arena and bringing clients and customers to games. That's been a huge part of what we do, and it's been critical. We've had some very good sponsors for several years who have believed in us from really before I even had a logo. I pitched a few companies and said, "I'm going to need your support," and they thought it would work as well. So I'm grateful to have those people for a long time.
That's great.
So a question on everybody's mind, real quickly.
Sure.
When do you rest? Do you ever sleep? I mean, downtime, family time. Do you have time for that?
Yeah, I do. I mean, it's been my philosophy that I'm not going to be my sharpest, my best if I work too much. So I'm always thinking as an entrepreneur. I'm always thinking about how to make this better. But I've been willing to hire the best people to run a lot of the day-to-day and do. I mean, I empower, probably sometimes to my detriment, where I don't oversee a lot. I give people assignments of what they should be doing, and they know, and they take the ball and they just run with it. And I try to look for the future, and they just kind of keep going. So
No, there's nothing wrong with delegating. And you
Yeah.
put just like in any sport, you put a great team around you, hire smarter people than you are.
Yep.
That's been pretty easy for me.
Me too.
But it just really makes a big difference. And
Yeah.
it's really a pleasure to watch what you've done.
Oh, thanks.
And it's just outstanding. And it just goes to show that it's not about age. It's not about really anything other than determination.
Yep.
And really going for what you believe is your dream. And as long as you're listening and you get some of those mentor kind of
Yep.
relationships and you start to build that trust, man, you can do anything.
Totally. And I think people like, and they can rally around someone who is motivated and has a dream, because everyone has a dream. And Spokane embraced mine, and they thought, this is awesome, this is ours too, we'll jump on that. So I guess I'm listening to the previous speaker, I'm the oldest Gen Y-er possibly, I guess. I'm 34, January 2nd, I can't be any older, but people don't care how old you are, what you look like, they want the momentum. They want to be a part of that, and
the passion.
And the passion.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're afforded that here.
Yeah. Any last thoughts you'd like to share with us today?
Just from a personal perspective, the absolute worst part of the job is releasing players. I almost quit doing this whole thing after our very first cuts. I thought that's the worst thing, because no one likes firing anybody. That's the worst part of any job. But then you have to do it 20, 30 times a year. You know that coming in, it's terrible. But it's very rewarding to see guys chase their dreams. We've had several guys leave the Shock and sign NFL contracts, and it's really rewarding to talk to them a couple years later saying, hey man, thanks for sticking with me when I didn't get drafted and gave me a shot. It's just really rewarding.
Yeah.
A lot of interesting stuff that we can all learn from. We really appreciate it. Brady Nelson, let's give him a round of applause.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to ask some questions, Brady. So we've got a couple of questions in the audience. Let's start with you, sir.
Hey, Brady. Just looking at your career, and you've been so successful with the Shocker, is this something that is this your last stop? Do you want to just take the Shock as far as it'll go with the overseas stuff, or is it, or are there other plans for other types of businesses that are totally unrelated?
I definitely don't see this as a ending point. I see this as one stop in a lifelong career of entrepreneurial activities. So I'm always, I guess I am truly always looking for the next thing. So for me, this is a great thing that I'll always want to be a part of and always want to do and love it. But I'm interested in the business aspect of it. I always want to keep building and growing. So I hope to see a lot more from me in the future.
All right, we have one more question here for you, Brady.
Yes, my name is Brett Noyce with Startup Weekend, and I was just wondering, could you tell us about raising capital and starting this? It just seems like a huge undertaking. I was just wondering what that looked like.
That's a really good question. If I knew more about what I was doing, I really jumped into it with a fever and ambition without a whole lot of afterthought of what it was really, really going to cost. So when I first started, I just used my own money that I just rolled it in with just a single thought that if this thing flops, I'm young enough, I'll just start over. So going forward, I definitely would have a more of a spread out risk idea that I want to find other people to come partner. I do have partners now, but when I started, I didn't.
Okay, I think we have one more question here. Paul?
Yeah, Bill, so you've asked several of us about how we see the future for our organizations. I'd like to know what's ahead for Launchpad. How do you take that to the next level?
Well, we're kind of teetering on the idea of maybe going into arena football, since it sounds so easy. You just make it look so easy. Sure. You won a championship the first year. Hey, who couldn't do that, right? No, we're excited. We're obviously using our multimedia network, our platform. So the site and this TV show, radio, we have a multimedia network, and we want to help people build relationships. And people really, they consume information in different ways. So we want to provide that information and the connectedness so that people can build relationships. So we've built an amazing team. So we have Dara, who came to us from GoDaddy. We have Tracy Malingo came on board from NextIT. We're building a team that's going to help people and individuals build credible relationships here locally. And we'll be announcing quite a bit of that here in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, we're excited. So thanks for asking the question. Well, we've had a great show today. I'm really thankful that Brady and everyone else joined us today. It's been a lot of fun.
A lot of good stuff.
Yeah, it's been good
stuff.
So it's all about connections. It's all about relationships. And if you'd like to know more information about Launchpad, just go to launchpadinw.com. You can learn more about our services, our events, and how to build those relationships so you can achieve your professional goals. You can also follow us on Twitter at LaunchpadINW or Facebook, Launchpad Inland Northwest.
Thank you again for joining us on Launchpad Live. As always, it's our goal to help to connect you to the best and the brightest in the business community and to inspire you to achieve your personal definition of business success. It really is all about relationships. Thank you for joining us.